All right, y'all, sit the hell on down. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hi, my name is Queen Petty Lex, the self-appointed Speaker of the House, because I appointed my mother inside. Mr. Musk said that people 150 years old is getting a Social Security check. And do you know anybody that's 150 years old? Somebody lied. And then Mr. Musketeer said, it's not radical for people to want to know where their money was spent. It's called common sense. Because let y'all regular ass go up in the bank and deposit a whole lot of money. The government gonna know where the hell you got it from. And then him said that democracy is all about getting what the hell you voted for. The reporter gonna ask Mr. Musk, well, how are you benefiting from this? And with American people now, Mr. Musk said, don't play with me. Everything that we do is public. Then him said, all you got to do is use your own 2 eyeballs and you can see what's public. Now, I don't know if that was Mr. Musk's kid up there, but he was looking like a G with that gold chain. Then he had the trench coat to make it all slack. And then Mr. Puff said, this is a very intellectual man. And he was soft for y'all hard-headed tails. He didn't mention everything they were doing illegal. We'd have found tens of millions of dollars going to all types of bullshit. And here come this dusty-ass judge blocking everything that I'm doing. Then Mr. Musk said, when you got something to hide, that's when you get all this pushback. And then Mr. Puff said, how are y'all getting money for contracts that been expired? How the hell y'all mad at me for doing what I was voting for? Y'all gonna take $1 trillion of these people's money and tear up the damn debt. Then Mr. Musketeer said, all it takes is competence and caring to clean up this here mess. I don't need to take nobody's money, I got my own damn money. And the hymns is right, because most Americans then sat up here and went through all their credit cards just to keep up with this here economy. Then him said, we're working hard to get inflation down by 2026. The reporter gonna ask Mr. Puff if he's going to abide by the judge's orders. Mr. Puff said, I always do what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm going to appeal it. What's the point of doing that? You going to slow down the process and find out this fraud? And what I don't understand, why the hell is the judge trying to prolong this? Then Mr. Musk said, we're trying to get the money back to Americans. Exactly, cash app it to me. Then the reporter going to ask Mr. Musk if he can correct his comment to the $50 million going to Gaza for condoms when it was really to protect those people from AIDS. Him said, first of all, Margaret, if I made any mistakes, I would be first one to correct it. Therefore, it's not a mistake. It ain't that bad, but why are we sending them money for condoms? Mr. Puff and Mr. Mustard said what the hell they said, and we the people we done spoke. I ain't got no time for no damn questions. Now get the hell out my face.
We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education will tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. Which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book the black tax was published, nor the cost of black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountains. Good evening in the Central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Reparations perspective, bringing you those Negro descendant hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our votes, socializing our suffering. How y'all doing, family? I see you, root trackers by Yaira, the song starlings of Laura Diane. Oh my gosh, that's one of my parishioners from way back in the Gap. Welcome to the live, fam. Hi, Ivy Dreams. I saw another brother up in here, C Miles. I don't know, that could be a sister too. Welcome, welcome, one and all. And to those of you who are tuning in from Facebook or X, if you want to be a part of my co-host in the chat, you must come over to ScrewTube. That's right. There's a place for you to just share your sentiments. I can share it with the rest of the people throughout the nation that'll be catching this whenever they catch it. But I'm grateful to you guys for joining me live. We got a lot to cover, y'all. I've been away for a minute. For those of you who didn't tune in to our rich episode yesterday with the incomparable P. Ray Easley out of Chicago Red, you must go back and watch that archive. And yeah, I was sharing yesterday how I was down bad. This flu thing has been going around. You know, these colds and these flus have never been the same since OVK by design. But that's a whole nother subject for another day. Perhaps when I get my own channel, independent of ScrewTube, okay? So welcome, welcome, one and all. Thank you for being here. Let me remove this. All right, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. That's the way more people find me. As you know, I'm being shadow banned. Yeah, that's been forever. I don't even know if that will change. Now they're getting on me about my intro music. That's my brother's music, but that'll have to change. I think he sold something to somebody, and now it's going to be a copyright. They already gave me a copyright strike. If I get 2 more, the channel goes away. Hi, George Richard the third. Thank you for coming back. Thank you. Yeah, so, you know, they're always picking on me. You know, when you telling the TR Ruth and telling like a TI is, they gonna come for you. And so they're coming for your sister. But I need you guys to thumbs up so folks will find me. Thank you, Amal. Thank you, Hassan and family, for supporting the broadcast. If you would love to support my advocacy and my voice in this space, as the new Negro media, okay? It's not just black for me. You know, black is flat in this country. If you want to support this Negro fighting on behalf of other Negroes to get everything we are owed with interest, please be sure to support the channel at the Cash App scrolling in the bar below. And it's in the description box as well. But thank you, Amal. Thank you, Hassan, and your illustrious family for always, always, always supporting the broadcast. I appreciate you very, very much, as I do you guys, the viewers. So thumbs up. That is free, okay? So let's get into it, y'all. We got, child, these demon rats are just demon ratting. Do you hear me? I mean, the money they have stolen while telling us no to reparations is just diabolical. And they want to make much to do about DOGE and Elon, and everybody's pissed because they're being exposed. So let's get into it. We just go walk this through one X-file at a time, because I love these X-files. That's where I get a lot of my political work done. And I think it's fun to share it with y'all and just discuss what's actually happening in these X streets, okay? It's a lot going on. So let's just, let me stop sharing what I shared prior.
You guys have to go back to the beginning to catch the intro if you missed it. I know Root Trackers wants me to start it over, but I ain't got time to tarry. So we're going to have to actually keep it moving. When this is done, y'all go back and see that little funny bit that I added to the top of the broadcast. So let me share my screen and let's just talk it through. This is crazy to me. And I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this, but there's everybody else's perspective, and then there's the reparationist perspective, okay? So we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it because this is, oh, child, the money that they spend on illegals. All of this is our reparations, y'all. I just need y'all to know that part, okay? Let me just see what I got here. Okay. Hold on. I got a ton of things open that I want to share with you. So we're just going to go through them one at a time. Which one do I want to show y'all first? Child, this is a lot. Okay. So I want to talk about these NGOs. Just a little bit. I want to touch on it. Just know that they're finding all this money. Now, I mentioned on yesterday's broadcast that whenever monies is supposed to be earmarked to us, what has ended up happening is they are giving it away to foreign interests, but with a ton of kickbacks, as you guys are about to find out. So the NGOs, like Catholic charities and things of this nature, they don't give money to us. What they're doing with this money is actually financing illegals being able to come into this country and be made more American than us. So just a quick snippet here. From the AI overview, the federal government gives billions of dollars to non-governmental organizations. That's what NGO stands for each year. In 2023 alone, the total financial assistance was $1.78 trillion. About 30% of the U.S. nonprofits that file an IRS Form 990 receive government grants. The government provides funds to NGOs through several federal departments, including the Department of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services. The value of revenue from government agencies has remained steady in recent years, even though the percentage of nonprofits that receive federal grants has decreased. NGOs rely on a variety of funding sources, including private donations, membership dues, and government grants. That's the one we want to focus on. This is where your reparations is going. This is what they're doing with it. They are using it to erase and replace the Negro. Okay, nobody is impacted by mass immigration and illegal immigration the way the Negro is. So just know that, okay? Know that. I'm trying to give you guys more resolve to keep this fight going for reparations. I really enjoyed what P. Ray Easley had to impart, that some of the more low-hanging fruit is actually in the Jim Crow era. Like, that's something that we could do right now as a terrorist act against us to get that going. And it would be far easier to attain that as low-hanging fruit than it would be for reparations, because as she stated, we weren't citizens. So that's a much harder fight. America wasn't even formed until 1776. That's a much harder fight. I like this kind of Jim Crow effort that she is invoking. I really can't wait to speak with her more about those efforts, because right now we need to get in where we can. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So this is Elon Musk announced that DOGE will be investigating people who have had their wealth compounded while working for the federal government. This is huge, okay? Because you're talking about people that make between $150,000 and $200,000 a year, but they're millionaires now. Let's hear what he's got to say. Stand by.
Right. Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, we just right. Etc. Well, we do find it sort of.
So let me stop that and show you some of these some of this money, these kickbacks. Hold on one second, family. I want to share this with you. Let's see what that's called. Okay. That is Gerbix. Okay, let me show you guys some of this money that they're talking about, how it's morphed into millions for our respective leaders. It's really, really out of control. And I hope they all get arrested. Let me share my screen so you can see it for yourself. So, Nancy Pelosi's annual salary is $223,000, but her net worth is $202 million. Mitch McConnell, annual salary $200,000. He has a net worth of $95 million. Chuck Schumer, annual salary $210,000. He has a net worth of $75 million. Elizabeth Warren, annual salary $285,000 with a net worth of $67 million. You see, this is why they were trying to stop Trump. This is exactly why they wanted to stop Trump from getting into office. And they tried very hard to either imprison him. He's had a couple of assassination attempts. But this is what the Democrats have been doing, is getting a bunch of kickbacks, working with certain lobbyists, corporatists, all of these things while claiming to be the people's president, while claiming that they don't have it to do in terms of reparations for the Negro. This is where it's going, to line their own pockets. And I really, really hope that these people are brought up on charges. This is egregious, and it's grossly unfair to Negroes. Let's keep going. Lots more to share with you. Stand by. Let me share my next slide. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Okay. So Elon Musk has called the USAID a criminal organization. He's basically, this is MSNBC. So what you're finding is that even Joy-Ann Reid has lost her own show. You're finding that these people, as I've always shared with you, they actually are working on behalf of the Democratic Party. They're in the pocket of the I call them Demonrats, child. Let's just keep the buck. They're in the pockets. These corporatists, these corporate news channels are in the pockets. So you can't really believe much of what they're saying, okay? They're on the ropes. They're on the defense, trying to defend all this money going out to USA. But what you might not know is that only a percentage of that money even reaches the actual cause. And the causes are utterly ridiculous. Let's go through some of the cost of this USAID that has been just, like I said, it's a whole kickback scheme. Let me share this with you. Stand by. So the USAID waste and abuse runs deep. So here are just a few of the items, a few examples of the waste and abuse. $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. While this is not happening at all for the Negro in the country our ancestors built with their lives, but they've got $1.5 million of our reparations to advance diversity, DEI, which, as we've already gone over on this broadcast, and I will be stressing it again through some other X-Files that I found, that it basically and predominantly benefits white women
LGBTQ white men, and immigrants. It has nothing to do with us. And when you're looking at the small 4% of Black immigrants that receive DEI, special dispensation, what you find is that they're predominantly melanated immigrants. This is why we're fighting with everything in us for delineation. $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. Why? $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. $6 million to fund tourism in Europe. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations, even after an inspector general launched an investigation. Millions to EcoHealth Alliance, which was involved in research at the Wuhan lab. You know, the one where they struck my channel for talking about the very thing that they are now freely able to talk about and get paid to do it. Yeah, I still can't say anything about it, or my channel will be taken down, even though they've been exposed for the pandemic it was. While they're cooking up another one, oh, by the way, hundreds of thousands of meals that went to Al-Qaeda affiliated fighters in Syria. Funding to print personalized contraceptive birth control devices in developing countries. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, and even fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan, benefiting who? The Taliban. The list literally goes on and has all been happening for decades. Under President Trump, the waste, fraud, and abuse ends now. So this is why they're mad at Trump. They do not want their nefarious ways to be exposed. They do not want it. They don't want you to know that this is how your reparations is being spent. But we're here to tell it all. Because what I want more than anything is for us to stop voting for this madness. Let's stop voting for these demon rats. I don't understand for the life of me why the majority of our people are still voting for abortion, open borders that are of unvetted, unvaxxed illegals that are being dropped into our communities. Okay, we're voting for them, these demon rats, to continue to rob and pillage the storehouse while telling us no to reparations and taking care of these unvetted, unvaxxed immigrants in our communities. That is the Black Negro vote working against us. Thank goodness it was ineffective this time, because why? The Latinos, they do what they do. About half of them already vote for Trump, but they came out strong. The Asians came out strong for Trump. But by and large, it was that 28% and those who voted the couch, which I disagree with. Because as you're voting the couch, you're allowing your local politics to be run over by melanated immigrants. So I oppose that. But yeah, that 28% that showed up with the backbone of the ancestors who fought back and voted Trump, that helped a great deal. Okay. So please know that their white card has been revoked. You know how white folks are. When they're done with their tools, they break them. That's exactly what they do. How much money does the Pentagon waste? Let's see here. Hold on one second. I want to go to a different slide to show you some other stuff before I get to that. Trump is G-checking everyone's pockets, the Department of Education, the military, and more. Then after that, somebody going to be held accountable. Indictments are coming. Let's hear what Trump has to say about it. Not that anybody, they don't want to hear from Trump, but we're going to play him anyway.
And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him to do that. Then I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. But I campaigned on this, Brett.
So absolutely. Hold on, let me turn this off. So yes, you're dealing with a Department of Education, as I've mentioned to you on previous broadcasts, that is literally failing Negro children. I've got a whole series called Tyrone Can't Read Because Jose Can't Speak English, okay? That is a real thing. There's so much waste and abuse and fraud going on in the Department of Education, and Negroes need to stop cleaving and crying about that going away. It needs to go the same way of DEI, which doesn't impact us, okay, one way or the other, just like affirmative action. That was intended for us, but it doesn't benefit us. So a lot of these things we have to be willing to let go of. I know Watson Speaking just shared that there are about 35 states who've instituted school of choice. Now, how many of these abandoned churches in our communities are going to convert into schools to educate our children properly? Because that's $8,000 a head per year, okay, that can be used towards educating our children in the proper way. Educating them like the immigrants educate their kids, like the Jews educate their kids in our country. And I love what P. Ray had to say about it. We've got to get Negro patriotism down to a science where we put up enough of a secure gate that everything that was designated for us on the strength and the lives of our ancestors benefit us. I saw some young girl benefiting from an MLK scholarship. She's from a whole nother country. Why is she in America benefiting from an MLK scholarship and not one of our brilliant, brightest, our best and brightest? We've got them. But that's what these demon rats do. They weaponize our never-ending Holocaust to uplift everyone but us. They weaponize our advancements against us to benefit everyone but us. We have got to stop voting for our own ethnocide and genocide. Let's keep going. Lots to share. So this is what the data says about U.S. foreign aid. Trump administration recent moves to freeze foreign aid and shutter the primary agency that distributes it have thrown a spotlight on a relatively small yet enduringly controversial piece of federal spending. The actions have created uncertainty among aid groups and governments around the world and what programs can and cannot proceed. With that in mind, Pew Research Center dug into federal data and our own previous survey work for relevant facts and figures about the U.S. government aid effort, as well as public attitudes toward them. Find answers to some common questions about the U.S. foreign aid, including how much does the federal government spend on foreign aid? How big is foreign aid as a share of the entire federal budget? What is the U.S. foreign aid money used for? Who receives U.S. foreign aid? Who distributes U.S. foreign aid? What about military assistance, and how do Americans feel about foreign aid? Okay, for many years, Americans have had at best mixed views about the effectiveness and desirability of foreign assistance. Pew Research surveys on federal spending have long found split opinions on economic assistance to needy people around the world. See, charity starts at home. Charity starts at home. And furthermore, how in the world can we have hundreds of trillions of dollars in egregious racial wealth gap and be spending any semblance of money overseas to help them while our people are the highest evicted, the highest rates of homelessness, the highest rates of unemployment? How do you have money to do that and not repair the Negro? That's what makes this problematic. So I don't really care. So let's see here. The government is currently on track to spend about $58.4 billion on international assistance programs in the 25 fiscal year, according to January 25 projections from the Congressional Budget Office. But since we're only 4 months into the fiscal year and the Trump admin is moving aggressively to reshape and reduce aid, that figure may change. Well, hopefully that will change. When you're looking at a country that is $36 trillion in debt, how do we have billions to continue to send on the bull crap that I just read to you guys? This is utterly ridiculous. While our people are being ethnocide and genocide, okay? That's what's happening. What is the foreign aid? How big is this? The 71.9 billion in foreign aid that the government spent in fiscal 2023 works out to only 1.2% of that year's total federal outlays, which were more than 6.1 trillion. But no to reparations after 70 years of voting for Demonrats. All we've gotten in exchange is the bottom. Not a penny of this 71.9 billion. $6.1 trillion. Whoo, child, the ghetto. So this is what they're kind of doing with our reparations. Hold on one second. Let's go to the next slide. I'm trying to get through them so I can get to your comments. Oh, here we go. We've got to stop voting for this. So let's look at some of the Demonrats wailing and gnashing of their teeth. The cabal has mobilized their Fight in the Streets campaign. First up, Cory Booker. Notice the USAID signs in the background. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Can you guys see that? Okay, so here are the terrorists, because of course the U.S. plays both sides to get what they want. You see the USAID in the background. And let's hear Cory Booker screaming his stupid head off.
Must be a coalition that grows and grows and grows. There can be no bystanders in this fight. It is time that we understand the only thing necessary for wrong to triumph is for right to do nothing, for right to be silent. And so understand this. There are legislators walking through here, but these are the ways we're going to fight. Must be a...
So this is a kind of nonsense they're on. You don't hear them be this passionate about anything but that stupid HR 40, which is simply a ploy to line the pockets of the folks who study us into perpetuity. I think it's between a $12 and a $20 million down payment to study what they already know. They're not studying the number. They're studying what they already know, and they want to put us on the hook to pay for it, because what they're doing is using HR 40 to keep Negro sheep walking to the polls. That's all this is designed to do. Let's listen to this crazy, this girl right here really gets on my nerves with the black girl magic kind of nonsense that the Democrats have put her out front in order to keep sister girls voting for their own line to perish. Let's just see. Where is she at? Hold on, guys and dolls. This is weird. Just had her. Brooklyn down. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So Representative Jasmine Crockett is doing what she does best. Running her mouth about nothing.
We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. We are not going to sit around.
Don't you wish you had representation fighting this hard for the Negro? I know I sure do. They can go out here and wail and gnash their teeth and try to disparage the work that Elon is doing to show us what they've been doing with the monies instead of paying the reparations. I know that Trump is offering about $5,000, I think, next year in some type of stimulus check. We'll see if it comes into fruition. But I'm not really for none of this nonsense. I don't need no more symbolism. Okay, with all these statutes he want to put up, we've had enough of that. We've been symbolized to death by the Demonrats. They gave us a hip hop holiday that nobody asked for, other than the hip hop heads who, for whatever reason, think that that's a priority over the majority. And then they gave us a Juneteenth that we were already celebrating, which, if you've got the highest rates of unemployment, who by and large is benefiting from a national federal holiday for Juneteenth? White folks and immigrants. So we didn't really need for them to turn that into a national federal holiday. We were already doing that for years before they interceded. Furthermore, who do you think is lining the streets of these parades? The Pan-Africans. They're the ones that are out there. They're the ones that got the businesses from all the monies that should have been given to us because they sign and check the box African American. They sign and check the box Black American. And they get everything that's owed to us to go out there with their businesses on Juneteenth, their flags on Juneteenth, not the flags that represent us. And they're the ones getting wealthy off of our Juneteenth. That's something that we need to be changing in every state throughout the country, especially where we have large pockets of Black American Negro descendants. We need to take everything back, take it over. And while I'm on that subject, let's talk about these immigrants that are owning, these Indians owning, what was that one I saw that I wanted to share with you guys? I don't think I'll have time to do it today. I've got too much to cover. But basically, this Indian guy purchased a Taco Bell, right? He purchased a Taco Bell and hired nothing but illegals. And so my question is, why are Black folks even in line? Why aren't we pulling a Montgomery boycott on any business that's not hiring Negroes? If you go into an establishment and they don't have any Negroes working, why are we there spending our money? Didn't they boycott the Montgomery bus boycott? Take 7 years to turn that around. I'm talking popular franchises, even places like Popeyes. I mean, out here, you'd be hard pressed to go into a Black community and see any of us working. You don't see the Negro working. You see everybody but the Negro. It's like a Negro out, okay? Out here in California. And as California has gone, the nation is going. Thanks to Chicago Red and all of the people from the soil that are fighting not to become California. But yeah, they take it over. And my thing is, we need to boycott these businesses. We don't need to be spending money with none of them. You can go right on YouTube and find out how to fix your own Popeyes, your own Taco Bell. If our people, our children can't get work, this was the way they once built their resumes. If they can no longer do that, we've got to shut it down, especially in our communities. We must do it. Let me share my next slide. So Nancy Mace tells Democrats who are crying about USAID ending to take your salty tears and sit right back down. Not only do they need to sit down, Democrats need to apologize to the American people and then resign for ripping them off. And I pray that they don't get reelected. I pray come midterms, the Negroes show up in droves for a protest vote.
We all now know USAID. We all now know.
Pause it.
We all now know USAID. They're screaming about Elon Musk over there, but hey, George Soros and his boy are okay. They scream that we're all a threat to democracy when they've been systematically dismantling democracy before our eyes. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and there's no going back. So I tell my colleagues across the other side of the aisle, take your salty tears and sit right back down. USAID has long strayed from its mission to effectively and efficiently administer aid to advance American interests. We all now know USAID.
Yes, so they don't want to complain about the fraud and abuse that's being discovered. They don't want to talk about that, right? They want to focus on the fact that Elon's a billionaire and has been left in charge by Trump to analyze all the fraud. They act as if Elon is going to be able to cut himself his own checks. That's not what this is. They are auditing and showing us how wasteful the Demonrats have been. Let's keep going. I got some other things to show y'all, and it's just too much. I don't want to tarry too much. But yeah, they're not screaming about the fraud. They're screaming that they're being found out. Let's go to the next one. So, what's happening right now is they're also being found out about how they're seeking to protect the illegals. They're giving out information to illegals on how to avoid and divert ICE. Now, they've never given us a blueprint on how not to be executed by the race soldiers and the deputized, but they can surely do nefarious things to become legal in this country, as well as to teach the illegals how to become legal in this country. So she breaks the law and she married Ilhan Omar. I'm not sure how many of you know this, but she broke the law and married her brother to get him here illegally. And now she's telling others how to break our laws. Representative Ilhan Omar is now advising Somalians who are in our country illegally on how to evade ICE. Let's check this out.
xildhibaanad ilhaan cumar oo dhowaan la hadashay saxaafadda ayaa tala bixin siisay.
That's in their language. I'm going to have to back that up, guys, because for those who might not be able to read this, I need to read it aloud, okay? While they're speaking, I need to translate this language. Hold on. Let me stand by. Representative Ilhan Omar recently spoke to the media.
xildhibaanad ilhaan cumar oo dhowaan la hadashay saxaafadda ayaa tala bixin siisay dadka sharciga aan haysan ee ku nool dalkan.
waxaan ula talinayaa dadka Soomaalida ah haddii ay maxaa la dhahaa ii sheeg ICE ay isku dayaan inay ku su'aalaan muku khasbantihiid inaad su'aalahooda aad ka jawaabtid waxaa dhihi kartaa lawyer ii advice garay inaanan ku jawaabin qasab ma aha magacaaga iyo sharciga ku joogtid iyo waxaasoo dhan iisaa ku imaataybo inaad kala hadashid marka baro sharciyada iskuna diyaari in aad maxaa la dhahaa ii sheeg aadan dadkaaniiti aadan u sheegin information aadan rabin inay ogaadaan.
xildhibaanad ilhaan cumar oo dhowaan la
These Demonrats, her and AOC, they are going against the will of the people. Those of us who voted for deportation and closed borders, because we all know, as Negroes who turned out to vote for Trump, how mass and illegal immigration hurts us the most, cripples us the most. We were already fighting for jobs prior to them taking NAFTA, and instead of like having the work outsourced, they came up with a way to replace the Negro in the country of our ancestors in the workforce. They came up with a way, in other words, to economically genocide us. This is treason. Why isn't she and AOC been arrested for advising their constituents who are illegal, meaning you're a criminal? Why haven't they been arrested? They've arrested us for less. And so here she is in this country teaching illegal criminals how to further break the law and avoid ICE when we voted for that. Trump is doing the job that we voted for. And why do we vote for that? Because our collective is largely discriminated against because we are Negroes. Okay? I refer to myself as a Negro. Newsflash, if you're FBA, ADOS, Freedman, I mean you no offense. We all bleed descendant of the emancipated. But I refer to myself as a Negro, like I posted earlier in X, because it's on my birth certificate. It delineates me from melanated immigrants. And Barack Obama tried to get rid of the identifier. So that's why I refer to myself as Negroes. If you're in the chat, I don't want you getting offended. Okay? But none of the rest is on my birth certificate, although we are all the same people. So here we are having voted for this. And they're teaching their people to break the law. Things that our unarmed Black men, women, and children can't do. They can't resist arrest. Or they'll be annihilated. Let's keep going. More to share. Senator Eric Schmidt breaks down some of the insane spending. $45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma. Couldn't our children, the Negro children, benefit from $45 million in scholarships? $3 million for girls-centered climate action in Brazil. $125 million to racialize public health. $280,000 for diverse bird watchers. $1.5 million for DEI in Serbia. $70,000 for DEI musical in Ireland. $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam. $47,000 for trans opera in Colombia. $32,000 trans comic book in Peru. $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. $6 million for tourism in Egypt. Some of those were overlapped with the one I read to you prior. But no money for the Negro. 90% of our electorate who showed up, I can't get a real handle on who voted the couch, but 90% of our Black women voted for this. 77% of Black men voted for this. And I'm here to destroy them for several election cycles until they're begging us to cut our checks. I'm tired of the games, okay? Let's keep going. These are not in any real order because it takes me forever to seem to order these things. I don't even understand. So AG Pam Bondi freezes all funding for sanctuary cities day one. She's absolutely amazing. Paula White was also appointed on a team for the White House too. Let's hear what Pam Bondi has to say. Hold on, guys. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance.
Now, let me start with you've cracked down on sanctuary cities. The DOJ has put a pause on all federal funding to sanctuary cities and states. You filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for being a sanctuary city. Am I wrong in my interpretation that a sanctuary city is aiding and abetting in lawbreaking?
Sean, what they're doing is they are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
Now, let me start.
Okay, so she said what she said. Now, I'll be glad when she comes out here to California because Newscomb, I think he wants to spend, let's confirm this. How much is Newsom spending to protect illegals in Cali? Okay, so it's down. So basically, California Assembly has already approved. Now, they're telling us no to reparations. We got to, hopefully we'll get to the story tonight. If not, we'll pick it up next week. But we got a whole Republican who is trying to bring the bill that the California Legislative Black Caucus refused to bring to the floor for a vote. We've got to give this over to a whole Republican to bring to the floor for a vote for an Office of Freedmen Affairs. But here you've got Newscomb, who got, I think he wanted $150 million in the beginning. But the California Assembly approved $50 million to defend immigrants and to protect state policies from Trump plans. Let me share my screen. But no reparations for the Negro. I'm just making the case for why you need to protest vote till times get better for the Negro. You need to come out in Obama-style numbers for the midterm. You can't afford to vote the couch when your local elections is going to immigrants, who mostly, by and large, comprise the congressional black caucuses. They're running the show and working in the interest of themselves, not the Negro. All they can do is offer us an empty HR 40 that benefits nobody but them. It lines their own pockets to undermine us. So California's Democratic-dominated assembly endorsed up to $50 million in funding Monday to defend the state's progressive policies against challenges by the Trump administration. Now, they only earmarked $12 million for us to open up our Office of Freedmen Affairs. $50 million to defend criminals who broke into the country illegally. $12 million for us that, oh, by the way, Pan-Africanist groups and organizations are fighting because they want $6 million of it. But once again, the California Black Legislative Caucus refused to bring the bill to the floor for a vote. But they want to give $50 million to fight for illegal criminals. This is what Negroes keep voting for to their own extinction. We're now about 3% in the state of California, around 2 million. The legislation sets aside $25 million for the State Department of Justice to fight legal battles against the federal government, and another $25 million for legal groups to defend immigrants facing possible deportation. Now, do you see how they call them immigrants? Now, what I also discovered that I think is hella funny is you see adult illegal, well, I don't know if they're legal or not, but their parents are being deported because they're not legal. May not have committed any crimes either. But they're sitting up here, fake selective outrage, crying and wailing and gnashing of teeth as their parents are being deported when they could just pack a bag. You don't have to be separated from your parent. You're a grown-ass adult. Why are you wasting time on your camera, wailing and gnashing your teeth when Holman and Trump said we can deport whole families? So you see, if you're willing to let them take your mama and your daddy, and you want to stay in the country that my ancestors built with their lives, are you really as shook up as you pretend? Inquiring minds want to know. So the proposals won approval on party line votes after Assembly Democrats delayed an expected vote last week. They now head to Demonrat Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. We do not trust President Donald Trump, Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas said before the votes, describing Trump's administration as out of control and a threat to constitutional rights. How in the heaven do illegal criminals have constitutional rights? Where is Pam Bondi, Holman, and Trump to come and arrest Newsom? To rescind federal funding for the state of California. See, because I'm not going to believe you're serious about this until you come after the blueprint, California. You're not serious. You're not serious if you're not going after corporations that hire these illegal criminals. You're not serious. You're just talking as far as I'm concerned. Republican leader James Gallagher called the plan a political stunt that sapped away time from dealing with wildfires and the soaring cost of living in the state. Rather than getting ready for a fight with Trump, we could be talking about how we could make things more affordable, he said. But the Demonrats out here keep voting blue. Or do they? I told you guys on previous broadcasts that when I got to the polls to vote in the general, they told me to put my ID away because Newsom made it against the law to ask for ID. Is this perhaps for illegals, criminals, to be able to vote in our elections here? Allegedly, and in my opinion. So the Republicans are fighting. At a recent hearing on the proposed funding, Democratic Assembly member Rick Chavez Zubar told y'all, when you don't show up to vote, the immigrants take over your politics. Said it is about making sure that whatever happens at the federal level, and we don't know what that's going to be to a great extent yet, that our government is actually looking out for the rights of California families. How does an illegal criminal have rights? I'm sick of that. Okay, next. I'm just over it. Negroes have got to stop voting for this. So, Watson speaking, she's been a guest of the show. Clinton admin created I-10 to help illegal aliens get tax refunds. They function like Social Security numbers. Illegal aliens also use I-10s to get mortgages. Some at zero down payment with no credit score. Black American voting Democrat is like chickens voting for KFC. This is a nightmare. Once again, Demonrats, Clinton administration Demonrats created I-10s. Illegal aliens getting tax refunds. More of the reparations they keep saying no to. Child, is exhausting. But we're gonna tell it all here. We're at least a large part of the story here. Let's see what this next slide shows. We need to look at Jerry Moran, the World Food Program and USAID for any financial ties there might be. Let's look at this. The World Food Program estimated $340 million in U.S. food aid was idled at domestic ports by order of the Trump administration. In total, $566 million in U.S. grown commodities designated for humanitarian purposes was locked down in warehouses throughout the world. Time is running out before the life-saving aid perishes, Moran said. Food stability is essential to political stability, and our food aid programs help feed the hungry, bolster our national security, and provide an important market for our farmers, especially when commodity prices are low. Moran said there was a moral component to food aid, but he understood administrative issues with USAID programs had to be addressed. That reform, he said, must go beyond presidential directives to Congress, could be involved in making the decision of what this should look like. Well, the bottom line is, what Negroes are benefiting from this? $340 million in U.S. food aid, while eggs are $10 per dozen. This is a mess. What Negroes are benefiting from this? Our kids are hungry and homeless. Breaking, Trump greenlights Musk's DOGE to audit the Pentagon. Trump has made his most dangerous move yet. How will the deep state strike back? I pray they don't murk him, but let's go.
Trump has made his most dangerous move very quickly, understanding that the real key to the globalist control system is the Pentagon, and announced that they're going in and auditing and finding all the stolen money, and they will punish those responsible. And Hegseth has said he's been given the order. So next target of DOGE, the Pentagon.
If you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it. It's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military. We're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of money, Peter, being spent on things that bear no relationship to anything and have no value. We're talking about trillions of dollars. It will be, in the end, trillions of dollars being absolutely wasted, and perhaps illegally. I would say certainly in many cases illegally, but perhaps illegally overall.
Quickly to follow up on what Peter was asking, have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending in the federal budget?
Yes, I have. Pentagon, education, just about everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through. And I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed. It was very, very unfortunate. You're not going to find anything like that, but you're going to find a lot. And I've instructed him to go check out education, to check out the Pentagon, which is the military. And, sadly, you'll find some things that are pretty bad, but I don't think proportionally you're going to see anything like we just saw.
So basically what you see is that they're basically using all of these different departments as a money laundering scheme, allegedly, and in my opinion. Let's go to the next one. Shout out to Afro Elite.
Going to be a good thing for the Black community.
Hold on one second.
Donald Trump
dealing with DEI here.
Donald Trump getting rid of DEI is actually going to be a good thing for the Black community. A lot of people are upset about it because they think that DEI prevents discrimination in the workplace. That's not the case. That is Title VII, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which Donald Trump is not touching. DEI, just like affirmative action, is an initiative meant to counterbalance the anti-Black discrimination we have faced in the workplace. Now, the problem comes with ambiguous language such as minority, other, people of color, which broaden who DEI and affirmative action could be applied to. That made white women the #1 beneficiaries of these initiatives and pushed Black people to the back of the line. So it's good that it's gone because Black people have been getting finessed by all of these programs for the longest. Donald Trump getting rid of DEI is actually going to be a good thing for the Black community.
Let's keep going, guys. But yes, thank you, Afro Elite, for explaining about DEI. It does not benefit the Negro. You must get that through your head and stop welling and gnashing your teeth over things that are hurting us, not benefiting us. Let's go to the next slide. So here you got these Dems cosplaying again. This is hilarious. Black fourth graders are functionally illiterate nationally. And these people are telling us we are here to advocate for your kids. Yeah, we good with that type of advocating. Let's see. Maxine Waters is diabolical. But let me let you hear these silly people outside the Department of Education fighting for things that don't benefit us. Money laundering, in my opinion. Hold on one second. That's very low. That's their volume, honeys.
We are members of Congress. Come in. They're blocking us. See this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us. Are you a federal employee? No. Huh? Yes. No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. Kids deserve to have us go and fight for them. Children of this country deserve that.
That's so low, guys. It's hard to hear them. But they're out there welling and gnashing their teeth over things that don't serve the Negro children. In the name of advocacy, when we've got the highest illiteracy rates and our math scores are in the toilet. But they're out there doing what they do best, fake outrage, fake selective outrage. Let's keep going. Has Democrats attempted to enter the Department of Education building, but were blocked? Okay, so they were physically blocked from entering because they're making spectacles of themselves. Let's see if this volume is any better. That's a little better. Well, that's enough. I've had enough of that nonsense. You get the idea. You get the idea that these are the Demonrats who are fighting for the Negro to abort their children. They're fighting for our children to remain illiterate. They're fighting for our children to be taught LGBTQIAXYZ propaganda and agendas. They're fighting for transgender rights. They're fighting for transgenders to have access to women's sports, women's bathrooms, men posing as women in prison, impregnating female prisoners. And Negroes keep voting for this, by and large. Thank God for the ones who didn't this time around. Let's keep going. What's this one? Did I show this one already? Oh, yeah. Let me turn that off. Woo, child, the ghetto. So, here we've got FEMA employees that were fired over egregious payments for New York City migrants. Now, keep in mind when you listen to this, that our people suffering national disasters, the fires out here, I think they got a $770 check. The, I want to say hurricanes or tornadoes in North Carolina, I think their check was $770 maybe. Listen to what FEMA has been doing with our money.
Fox News Alert moments ago, we received this together. We received a statement from the DHS regarding the $59 million sent from FEMA to New York.
FEMA.
Moisturizer helps your skin, right?
$59 million.
Nope.
Sorry
what about
for the
collagen?
guys.
Nope. Do this to erase wrinkles in
New York City migrants last week. Quote, 4 employees being fired today for circumventing leadership and unilaterally making the egregious payment for hotels for migrants in New York City. We have not announced it yet, so we have it first. There's going to be firings, the names are going to be out, and let's bring in New York Congressman Mike Lower. Congressman, your thought about that move?
Well, it's long overdue, frankly. These funds have been misappropriated going back to the Biden administration. And New York City, a sanctuary city, has been wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money, billions with a B, to provide free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants, including criminal aliens that are here illegally. And so, you know, I applaud, frankly, DHS for taking action to stop these payments under President Trump's leadership, because we have incentivized cities like New York and states like New York, a sanctuary state, to allow this to continue, and it has to stop.
Look, it cost New York, and it's a little selfish of us, billions of dollars because the water was wide open for 4 years. And the mayor that spoke up got exiled in the Democratic Party. Ironically, he's about to be, I guess, in a way, pardoned or protected by this president, who sees a lot of the targeting of Mayor Eric Adams as the same thing that happened to him.
No question. Eric Adams spoke out against what the Biden administration was doing. He said that the migrant crisis was, quote unquote, destroying New York City. Kathy Hochul authorized billions of dollars of state taxpayer money to pay for all these expenditures. Meanwhile, she's fleecing hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 just for the privilege of driving to work. It really just speaks volumes to how inept, incompetent, and corrupt New York has become under feckless leadership.
Right.
We have to stop this massive influx at the border, which is what President Trump is doing. But we have to stop incentivizing states and cities like New York by spending billions, and in this case from FEMA, $59 million to support their efforts to circumvent federal law. That's really what this boils down to. States like New York are circumventing federal law, allowing illegal immigrants to get benefits and access to taxpayer money.
All right, so let's talk about something else that's just bizarre that's happening in New York. New York's top court set to consider non-citizen voting in New York City elections today. Get this, non-citizens, you don't belong here, you're not registered, blowing off court appearance, doesn't matter. That would add 800,000 non-citizen voters. Why is this even a discussion?
It shouldn't be. New York Republicans fought back against this effort several years ago. We were victorious in the lower court and the appellate division, and now it goes to the Court of Appeals. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit concerned because the New York Court of Appeals has been corrupted by Kathy Hochul and New York Democrats. This is why they tried to gerrymander our maps again last year. They added people who are way too progressive for the court to try and move the court in a different direction. I am concerned, certainly, that the Court of Appeals will make a political decision and not follow the Constitution. It is very clear. Non-citizens do not have the right to vote in our elections, period. There's a reason New York is a sanctuary state and city, though. And the reason is they want illegal immigrants counted as part of the census. That gives them more congressional seats and it gives them more electoral votes. That's what this all boils down to. They want them to be able to vote in our elections. I fundamentally believe that it is wrong. It violates both the U.S. and New York State constitutions and needs to be prohibited. And if the court had any courage or any conviction at all, it will reject this outright today.
You would think, because they want to loosen up that. Next thing you know, non-citizens voting in general elections. They'll figure out a way to do that. You know what I think it is? Republicans getting very close in New York to winning a lot of traditional Democratic seats, maybe even the governor's mansion. And they got to start letting everybody know that we're going to have to maybe bend the rules a little to stay in power. Mike Lower, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, Congressman. And
well, there you heard it. There you heard it. This is what I've been trying to get our people to understand. They've neutralized us economically. Now they're coming for our vote. And they're using the Negro vote to ethnocide, genocide the Negro. That's why they're allowing millions. I think the last count was over 25 million into the country, dropping them into our communities as if gentrification didn't hurt us enough. And like my series often asks, as a nation goes the way of Cali, where are Negroes going and with what? There's not a country on this planet that's going to give away monies from the citizens, tax dollars from the citizens to the Negro. I don't care where you go in the world. That is our reparations that they're using to pay for our own ethnocide, genocide, and Negroes must stop voting for it. You must get off your couches and come out in Obama-style numbers come the midterms. And that fight for that protest vote started when Trump took office. There's no giving this fight for me because I've already seen it happen to us out here in California. I'm trying to spare the rest of you. Let's keep going. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. So, Ilhan Omar did marry her own brother and admitted she would do what she had to do to get him U.S. papers, according to a Somali community leader, Daily Mail. This is how nefarious these people are. This is how badly they want our position. You must get the desperation and what they're doing and the tricks they're accomplishing to get in this country, and now she holds political office. I think I heard somewhere that she had to step down. Let me figure that out and see if that happened. Ilhan Omar steps down. Let's see. Oh, this is good. This is rich. Let's look at this together. I knew I'd heard this somewhere. Stop sharing this and share this article. from NPR. So after Ilhan was educating her people to defy ICE arrest and deportations, the House Republicans vote to remove Representative Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. This is treason. House Republicans have voted to remove Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, citing past controversial comments she made about Israel and concerns over her objectivity. Well, I thought it was due to actually her instructing her people how to avoid and divert ICE, which to me is the biggest threat to Americans. But let's keep going. The vote was 218-11 along party lines. In her first term, Omar drew criticism from Republicans and Democrats alike for tweets that invoked anti-Semitic tropes. She apologized for those tweets, but has remained outspoken about the influence. Sorry, guys, I don't want to subscribe. I've got too much. She apologized for those tweets, but has remained outspoken about the influence of Israel and the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, a powerful pro-Israel lobby on U.S. politics. The resolution introduced by Representative Max Miller, Republican from Ohio, stated that Omar has disqualified herself from serving on the Committee on Foreign Affairs, a panel that is viewed by nations around the world as speaking for Congress on matters of international importance and national security. Miller, who is one of the two Jewish Republicans in the House, said in a statement that Omar cannot be an objective decision maker on the Foreign Affairs Committee, given her biases against Israel and against the Jewish people. See, I don't give a damn about that. I don't give a damn about that part. I give a damn about her instructing her people in her language how to divert ICE, because that's something I voted for. Deportations, closed borders, which is treason to me. I don't even give a damn about the Israel bullshit. I don't. So I'm going to keep going, but yeah, I don't know if this actually happened, but yeah, I'm done with that. Let's keep going. I thought that that's what it was for. But yeah, she married her own brother to get him over here illegally. How are you able to serve office? How are you able to serve office? That's what I want to know. I just don't believe that any immigrant should be serving in office, especially when they're cosplaying blackness. Oh, I don't want to share that yet. Jasmine Crockett is trying to deny that she makes has a net worth of $9 million. I don't believe anything that comes out of a demon rat mouth. I just don't. Let's stop sharing that. I don't mean to share that yet. So let's see what this one is. Taking all the time you need to process where your tax dollars have been going. Breaking this morning, the White House releases more projects that you paid for with USAID. The wasteful, unaccountable government agency that has been dismantled by DOGE and Elon Musk. Here's a look at where your tax dollars went, including terror groups. I hope you're proud. Thank you, Juicy Genius, for sharing the list. $7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I don't know. $1.5 million for art for inclusion of people with disabilities. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. That seems like a repeat. $6 million to transform digital spaces to reflect feminist democratic principles. We know what feminism, the feminazis, has done to the Negro in this country. You know, the same ones that descend from the feminazis that once owned us? Yeah. $2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society. $10 million worth of USAID funded meals, which went to an Al-Qaeda linked terror group. $25 million for Deloitte to promote green transportation in the country of Georgia. $2.5 million to promote inclusion in Vietnam. $16.8 million for a separate inclusion group in Vietnam. Approximately $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance, one of the key NGOs funding bat virus research at the Wuhan lab. $20 million for a group related to a key player in the Russiagate impeachment hoax. $1.1 million to an Armenian LGBT group. $1.2 million to help the African Methodist Episcopal Church Service and Development Agency in Washington, D.C. build a state-of-the-art 440-seat auditorium. $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. $2 million to promote LGBT equality through entrepreneurship in Latin America. $500,000 to solve sectarian violence in Israel. Just 10 days before the Hamas October 7 attack. $2.3 million for artisanal and small-scale gold mining in the Amazon. $3.9 million for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans. $5.5 million for LGBT activism in Uganda. $6 million for advancing LGBT issues in priority countries around the world. $6.3 million for men who have XA with men in South Africa. $6.3 million. $8.3 million for USAID education, equity, and inclusion. For decades, USAID bureaucrats believed they were accountable to no one, but that era is over. President Trump, is stopping the waste, fraud, and abuse. USAID, our reparations, used by and large on LGBTQ agendas worldwide. Child, the ghetto makes me want to holler. Let's keep going. Okay, so Nick Sortor, he's been on the move. Democratic Representative Ayanna Pressley gives me a death stare after I ask her about FEMA spending on illegals. Pressley refused to condemn the DOGE unveiled $59 million FEMA payment to luxury hotels for illegals, while Western North Carolinians live in tents. Just another leftist attempt to intimidate journalists. They're not used to being pressed. Goes to show you what this is really all about. They're not looking out for everyday Americans. They're spewing talking points given to them by their handlers and their lobbyists. Let's take a look.
Congressman, what do you have to say about the fact that FEMA just spent $59 million housing illegal immigrants while people in Western North Carolina lived in tents for the past 4 months? What do you have to say about that? Do you accept that? Do you accept that? Do you accept the fact that because DOGE exposed that today, it sounds like you have a big problem with the fact that DOGE. I'm not blocking her. I'm not blocking. Excuse me. Are you okay with that? Do you condemn the fact that DOGE exposed FEMA for sending $59 million to house illegal immigrants today?
Excuse me, sir.
Do you condone that?
Excuse me, sir.
I don't know who the
I don't know who. I tell you what. If I don't know who you are. Let's go. You're in the way.
I'm not in the way.
You are in the way.
Okay, then get out of my way. Oh, what's that? What's that look? What's that look? Congressman, what do you have to say?
Nothing to say. She reminds me of Karen Bass when she was confronted about the wildfires while she was off celebrating in Ghana. Let's keep going.
Oh my God, it's 7:01. I got to come over and read your comments. Just give me a second. I got a few more slides and then we'll pick up the rest next week. Just a second. I wanted to show you one important link, and I don't seem to have it open here. Let me see here. Hold on one second. Showing you the money laundering that's been going on, that's been discovered, where our public officials have made a gang of money. Quite a few important people on this list that I found. And I'm going to conclude with that particular slide, and we'll come back with more of this in a part 2. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick. No, let's see here. Elon exposing. Oh, this is a good one to show. There's so much more to share. Good Lord. I just... coming once a week is just very difficult to get to everything. Hold on. Let me share this one with you all. Hold on, family. This is important. Maxine Waters telling the truth about why they want Elon stopped. I don't think she meant to, but she did. Stand by.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
That, my fellow Americans, is what we like to call a Freudian slip, which is when you unintentionally reveal your subconscious feelings. Democrats aren't freaking out about Trump and Elon Musk because they're trying to protect democracy. They're freaking out because all the dirt they've been doing in the dark is about to come to light. And the American people are about to find out just how corrupt many of these politicians actually are. They want Elon to go away because he's exposing what exactly it is that they've been doing with American tax dollars. They had nothing to hide, they wouldn't be going as ballistic as they are. There's an old American expression that says a hit dog will holler, which means a defensive reaction to an accusation can indicate guilt. And right now, what are we seeing? A bunch of hit dogs hollering after Elon's been going into the books and finding our tax dollars going to a bunch of crap. And we're talking about in the hundreds of millions. And just yesterday, we saw Elon talking about DOGE investigating federal employees who have a high net worth despite low pay. And oh boy, these politicians are really losing it. See, for many years, many people were afraid of the government. And now the tables are turning and the government is afraid of the people. Yeah, it's all coming out now. And we're about to find out just exactly what it is that they have on politicians like you.
There it is, family. Let me stop sharing that. Just give me a second. I really want to show you guys this last slide before I come to your questions and comments. So you heard her say the quiet part out loud. We don't know what they have on us. She didn't mean to say that. They're desperately trying to hide all of their financial crimes, and they're being exposed. Oh, this was such a good one, guys. HR 40, no. I've got these things on one of my scripts, and I can't seem to find the one I want to share with you guys. Exposing. Let me see if this one is it. Hold on, guys. Kickbacks. Here we go. Copy. Paste in the browser. We'll end with this slide, and then we'll pick this up next week. Let's close that out. Okay, let me share my screen. This was a Facebook post. That's why it took me a minute. Okay, so this is why Trump and Elon are using a third party to conduct the DOGE audits, because there will not be No partisan interference when they get exposed. Neocon warhawks, rhinos, and Zionists were bagging that U.S. aid and foreign aid spending to Ukraine. A huge money laundering, pondering scheme. Republican Committee of Warren County, Pennsylvania. These are the amounts of money that Ukrainian officials have given to U.S. politicians as kickbacks. Joe Biden, $92 million. Mitch McConnell, $89 million. Nancy Pelosi, $86 million. Chuck Schumer, $66 million. Lindsey Graham, $82 million. Mitt Romney, $71 million. John Cornyn, $41 million. Adam Schiff, $62 million. Dan Crenshaw, $20 million. Elizabeth Cheney, $77 million. Kevin McCarthy, $42 million. Jamie Raskin, $38 million. Mike Pence, $61 million. Greg Pence, $71 million. Rick Scott, $63 million. Brother man Hakeem Jeffries, $74 million. Ilhan Omar, $33 million. Elizabeth Warren, $42 million. Allegedly. And in my opinion, I got to put that on everything because they're going to be gunning for this broadcast to shut it down. Let's see what my co-hosts have to say about it. I'm only going to read the pertinent comments because we're at 7:08. I would love to get us out of here by 7:30. Wishful thinking. Okay. Let's see here. Hi, George from Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, you guys should chat where you're tuning in from. That would be great. Look up Keys versus District. Let's see, Root Tractors at Ivy Green. Look up Keys versus School District number 1, Denver. I'm not really sure what that is. I am a senior sister, new here. I signed that petition and my children too. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, C. Miles, a senior here. I want to thank the Boomers, the Silent Gen. I want to thank the Woke Boule. Woke in its proper context. Yeah, I thank you guys for following through with the 3020 and the 3025 ban for Black American Negro descendants and for 3025 American Negro. Thank you guys. Listen, I don't even know if if you can still sign on, but give it a whirl. The deadline was the 18th, and we're still fighting with the OMB for our delineation. So thank you, one and all, for obliging us. Many more call to actions to come. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. Gwen XOXO, I see you, family. Oh, thank you, my love. She says I look beautiful today. It's my church glow, honey. I just got in. I come to y'all right after church because I'm still dressed. We had a great time. I was a little late getting started because I treated my 83-year-old parishioner to lunch with some of the church family. A great time was had by all. But child, when you're moving with the seniors, they got their canes, their walkers. Not that has to be your reality. Understand that you are owed perfect health and that more abundantly, okay? So you don't have to break down just because you get older. But in this case, I had to go really slow and help them and drive them around and things of this nature. Not that I mind. I love my older dolls. Yes, so thank you for the compliments, sis. Separation of church and state. Government shouldn't be doing that. C. Miles, absolutely. These people should be losing their 501c3s. And it always baffled me how the Negro church,
who can collect a gang of ties, not put the money back into the communities, but you see them flying around on fancy airplanes and living in mansions and driving the best of cars, are constantly allowing demon rats into the pulpit to pitch their elections, to come in there and talk abortions, talk how they're running for office and getting them rallied behind Democrats who seek to ethnocide, genocide us. And yet they've got their 501c3s intact. Now, if these same demon rat churches were Republican, would they be able to get away with this in the large numbers that they do? Raphael Warnock is a minister and a congressman, right? Abortion, transgender, open borders of unvetted, unvaxxed illegals into the country. That's the side that the black church has chosen. And it's diabolical, as they come for me often and want to cry salty demon rat tears, as Nancy Mace calls it, and mad with me. I literally told them, I don't want to talk politics with you. And I'm not going to mix church and state. I'm just going to be over here doing what I do. And when I get to church, that's a whole separate issue. Let's not talk politics because we're going to fall all the way out. When I call you out for how you are helping to extinct your own lineage, through the way you vote loyally for the demon rats. So yeah, a conflation of church and state has always been the case with the black church. George says the American Indian are prisoners of war and got erased by Walter Plecker. Paper genocide. Walter Plecker, U.S. first vital statistics person. Thank you for sharing, George. I appreciate your insight. I'm learning more and more as my family traces its lineage because, like we said on yesterday's broadcast, they got me being comprised of nothing but Africans and Europeans. Ancestry.com. And like P. Ray was saying, these things are flat out lies. How in the world can I descend from the emancipated and yet don't have nothing in my line concerning my background that my family has searched, where we were foundational to this country? The Indian lines run through here. The 5 civilized tribes that owned us. And P. Ray dropped some very interesting information about the Negro being the American Indian. I can't get into that right now because we're down to the wire, but I do appreciate the knowledge. Are any of those people GOP? Yes, C. Miles. There were some GOP people that I read whose palms were being greased with our reparations. Absolutely, it's not just demon rats. But you have to understand something. There's MAGA and the Rhino Republicans. Okay? Those are 2 factions of the Republican Party. The Rhinos are in bed with the liberals, the so-called progressives, that by and large are demon rats comprised of mostly Republicans. Hillary Clinton is a Barry Goldwater girl, Republican. She stumped for him. Joe Crow is actually the protege of the most heinous racist of our day, Strom Thurmond. The Democrats are the party of the Confederacy. The Democrats are the party of the KKK. So, Rhino and the demon rats are in bed together. With this money going out the door for Ukraine, for proxy wars with Russia, with the money going to Israel to genocide the Palestinians, they're locking step on those things. Pro-Israel, which feels to me like they own and run this country. Now, these are Zionists. Know the difference. European. The same ones that colonized Africa, the same ones that have colonized America.
But I can't speak too much on that because they'll strike this program. So I'm going to move off of that. George says 1705. Oh, let me put my glasses on. 1705, the American Indian fell victim to 1705 Christian codes. These terms were black, Negro, colored, mulatto, also color of law terms. Thank you for sharing, George. I need to have you on this broadcast. Hit me up at the represpect@gmail. Perhaps we can do a broadcast because you seem very informed. Perhaps you'll come on and teach because that's what this channel is designed to do. We aren't black. They're not white. We are American. They are European. And check the spelling. Afrikaners. So C. Miles did some more research. Found Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma, Republican, 361 million. Rick Scott, Republican in Florida, 259.7 million. Mark Warner, a Democrat in Virginia, 214.1 million. Greg Gianforti, Republican, Montana, 189.3 million. Paul Mitchell, Republican, Michigan, 179.6 million. Mitt Romney. Yes, thank you, C. Miles, for exposing Republicans. I know that they are having their palms greased. My biggest concern is how we have been the DemonRAT Party most loyal voter bloc for 70 years, and we are in the fight of our lives to prevent extinction in the country of our ancestors. We don't, by and large, vote for Republicans, but you're dealing with a lot of rhinos who also oppose Trump. Just so you know, these are the rhinos and the liberals. Two wings of the same bird. Our reparations are being stolen. Ivy Dreams, correct. Keyshawn, welcome to the live. That's exactly what we're going to do. I hope that means you're going to boycott these businesses in our communities. They will never scream for reparations, says Ivy Dreams. Correct. They will never scream for lineage-based cash reparations the last 4 years. Now, mind you, the Demonrats have been in power 16 of 20 years. Where is the Negro who have delivered them several trifectas? Even Barack Obama said no to reparations. They barely mouthed our names other than to admonish us and tell us to get in line and vote DemonRat to our own peril. That's all they were good for on the campaign trail. Yes, Keyshawn, we should be tired of performative politics. But folks that aren't politically educated love that sister girl nonsense. Notice how nasty Pelosi, says Root Trackers, has been really quiet. Glad Trump is selling off her federal building. Yes, I heard that, Yaira. They are selling off. I don't know how much they can get for it, but they are selling it. True. You're right. Big Rich Jr., thank you for your comment. The biggest liar America tells is that slavery was 400 years ago. My grandfather's parents were free slaves. He was born in 1890. Slavery ended less than 200 years ago. You've got to watch the Cotton Picking Truth, family. It's a documentary that you can find. It used to be on Amazon Prime. Try there or look it up in the Google. Let me look it up. Hold on, family. The Cotton Picking Truth will show you how in Mississippi, slavery was still ongoing in the 70s. Let me find it for you so I can share. The Cotton Picking Truth. Hold on, family. This is a 2-minute thing. I want to show y'all this because you're on this topic, and it's very important to share this because many of us don't even know this is still going on. And it may still be going on in Mississippi. Hold on, let me share my screen. As in July, for those who can't see the screen or read it, in July of 2009, the producers of this film set out to make a documentary about former slave Mae Louise Miller.
Well, you know, I came from a very poor family, and we was in slavery. We didn't have food, clothes, shoes. I was raped at an early age. I said maybe before I was 5, about the age of 5, that I got raped many times by these owners of us. Well, when you stop and think about what you all have already documented, it's not shocking to me because this is America.
But the producers uncovered even more. A plantation in operation just months after America elected its first Black president. Webb, Mississippi.
We all had been led to believe that somehow we were past slavery and its vestiges, that we were moving on to a better day. Well, seeing the footage that I saw and realizing that many of my brothers and sisters are living in not only abject poverty, but all the vestiges of slavery, it was saddening, to say the least. And it really tells me that here on Capitol Hill, we have to have lawmakers talking about this very subject. This is not something that's going away anytime soon, and this matter needs to be addressed at the highest levels of the government.
This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
The cotton picking troops still on the plantation.
So I'm trying to find out, hold on, family, where you can find the actual, you need to see the full documentary. It's going to blow your mind. That woman that was speaking, Miss May, she was freed in the 60s. And if my memory serves me, I've watched it some time ago. I think her family from the North found them and paid for their freedom or helped them to escape in the 60s. Let me find this. Hold on. Cotton Picking Truth. You can watch it. Let me see. I'm going to share this with you. It looks like Amazon Prime. Okay. The Cotton Picking Truth, Still on the Plantation, is a documentary film that calls for the rewriting of American history as we know it. Why is this? The film uncovers modern-day slavery in the Mississippi Delta in 2009. As a result of the film's exposure to many dedicated Mississippians, the state of Mississippi ratified the 13th Amendment in totality in February of 2013. Y'all must watch this. It's on Amazon Prime. So if you have Prime, it's free for you to watch it. If you don't, it's only $9.99 or something like that to rent it. It's a must-see documentary. To your point, Mr. Big Rich Jr. Thank you. It's not a democracy. It's a republic, but it's not ours. That was for the colonists WHI was separating themselves from King George III of England. Look at Maxine Waters letting the youngins take her place. Well, this is what they're doing, family. They're going to these HBCUs, as P. Ray Easley shared yesterday on yesterday's broadcast. They're going to the HBCUs, and they're cherry picking people who hate and loathe themselves, don't know the history as much, and they're grooming them for the seats you see them in position now, and paying them to undermine and betray those of us who know who we are or who stand on our Negro square and who scream and speak out for the collective. The likes of me is shadow banned because I bring this to light to educate the masses, because it's not enough for me to have education, home ownership, and the like. I'm not free until we all are, or at least the majority. So, yeah, they're recruiting these people to step in place, and without term limits, they will become the new Pelosi's, the new Maxine Waters, the new Jim Clyburns, to keep the intentional neglect of the Negro going into perpetuity unless we shut it down with the power of a protest vote, and to boycott every business in our community. Boycott, shut them down. These immigrants owning businesses that our government is giving them reparations to establish in our communities. While we can't own a thing, all we can do is be consumers, because they're not going to lend to us, no matter how great your credit score is. Just look at the statistics of the small business loans that are being given. I think under Joe Crow, it was maybe 1%. Under George Bush, it was about 6%. Elon has government contracts earning $8 million per day. Conflict of interest is all I'm saying. See, Miles, you're absolutely correct. It's a conflict of interest, but he's not being paid to expose what these demon rats have been robbing and pillaging the storehouses for years. I just shared with you. They've been in power 16 to 20 years. So yes, he benefits from government contracts, and no, he should not. But I'm also interested in learning what the demon rats are doing, because that's who our people, by and large, keep making excuses for. They want to sit up here and pretend that Trump is more racist than the very demon rats who are best friends with Trump. Wasn't Trump a demon rat before he was a repugnant Klan? Yeah. He was at Crooked Hillary's daughter's wedding. He was besties with Oprah Winfrey. He's been on The View talking to Whoopi and them. So I am here to shatter that deception, because our people niggardly believe that somehow a covert racist gets a pass, but the overt racist doesn't. That's my point in my broadcast, to expose the demon rats so that we will stop voting for our own ethnocide. We must weaponize our vote and socialize our suffering. I don't feel at peace when the demon rats are in control of the country. You see what they've done with it. 16 of 20 years. And where is the Negro? On the bottom of the Titanic, in the fight of our lives to prevent extinction, because of the demon rats, the party of the Confederates, the KKK. And so that's who I'm here to expose, because until we weaponize our vote and socialize our suffering the way we do every time we put someone like Trump in power, we're going to continue to remain on the bottom until we are no longer, until we are history. Because the economic genocide is happening every time the Negro gets in power. I'm sorry, not the Negro, the demon rats. Every time the demon rats get in power and get in control, the demon rat, the Negro loses more.
But you can talk to many people who prospered under Trump. I would venture to say, and I've shared it here, where brothers are thanking Trump. Because once deportation and ICE was afoot, they went into hiding. It left space for those brothers to go back and get those construction jobs. I've shared that on my broadcast. And so my problem is the Negro niggardly throwing away our votes to a party that wants to extinct us with illegal immigration, with mass immigration, and has been doing it with the Black Negro vote. I didn't start voting Republican until midterms. Okay, so I'm here to tell you it's a strategy. It's a protest vote. We only got two options. They both suck, but Trump is the lesser of the two evils. And I like what he's doing. All of them are thieves. I'm not here to argue that the Republican clans aren't, but I'm talking about the Demonrats who have been getting away with this forever. And I like them being exposed. I like knowing, and I like using my voice and my channel to expose them, to wake up more of my tribe. Because when the Demonrats are in control of the country, the Negro is the only group in distress, while everyone else gets protections and our reparations but us. We get hip-hop holidays, and a Juneteenth we were already celebrating, and like I said, if you were amongst the highest unemployed, you don't really benefit from a Juneteenth federal day off. That benefits largely white women, LGBTQIA, XYZ white men, and immigrants. Thank you, Carolyn Quinn. Welcome, Bruce. Treason. Yes. I like American Negro and Black American Negro descendants. Me too. Folks are really not happy about the Black part because they flattened Black so much in this country, Ivy Dreams, that everybody in the world with melanated skin calls themselves Black. And so I really do love leaning in on the Negro part and the Negro descendant, even the freedman, okay, for that reason. But it's a mess. NAFTA was a product of both the first Bush and the Clinton administrations, and 34 Republican senators voted for. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, the Republicans are benefiting from cheap labor, too. Yes, there's no arguments here, C. Miles. Yep, I believe so, Root Trackers. Yeah, hold on, guys. That jumped a little bit more than I wanted it to, which makes it bipartisan. Yep. And President Clinton's signing of it is sometimes identified as a milestone and a rightward shift for the Demonrats. Yeah, no lies detected. They've been right-leaning. That's exactly the voter base that they're trying to win over to our ethnocide genocide, while lying that they're for the working class. Bruce says Demonrats can sit on several election cycles until they show up with a blank check for FBAs. I say we need at least 2 more 4-year cycles. Well, I'm with you, Bruce. This ain't no one and done. That's why I came back. I told my viewers who were begging for me to return, I'm not returning unless y'all deliver me Trump. I'm not doing it because it's too frustrating. If they were to have delivered Skamala, I wouldn't be back. But I'm live because I see it worked. 28% of our electorate who showed up did the protest voter strategy. So that's why I'm back. And I'll be here to continue to push for the midterms and next general. Yeah, they're not going to see it. I done already told these Demonrats. You're not going to see the likes of the White House. I'm going to stay on your neck. Like the race soldiers and the deputized stay on our unarmed Black men, women, and children, which are by and large Negro. The melanated immigrant don't live in the hood. Not like we do. Even they are enriched with jobs and resources and businesses to climb right over top the Negro. They shut down that darn bullet train in Cali. Oh, sis. They're coming to Cali with an entire plan, sis. Well, thank you. I can't wait to hear more about it. And right. And California still has that no ID vote. Oh, yeah, because they want to sneak in these illegals. Carolyn says, my grandson had to come back home from the HBCU in Ohio because he said Trump cut the funds he needed. I have to look into that, Carolyn. I have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot is getting cut. I thought that when Trump was in office, the first term, that he had done some things for the HBCU so that they would never run out of funding. I'm sorry that happened to your grandson. He just said Trump when I asked him, so I just assumed Elon or whomever cut the funds. Well, Carolyn, we always have to do the research, right? We know that a bunch of these HBCUs are demonratically run. I was literally talking to my daughter today about my guest from yesterday who's MAGA. And she had me on speaker and asked me to please be quiet. She's at her HBCU in the dorm where she's not free to talk about her vote for deportation, closed borders. They got the minds of the Negro on these campuses because by and large, because it's flat black, I can't even tell you what percent of melanated immigrants attend those HBCUs as compared to what percent is Negro anymore. These HBCUs are running our kids about $50,000 between tuition on the average, between tuition and dormitory. So I have to look into that. If a demon rat is saying it, I really believe half of what they say and none of what I hear, truthfully. They like to blame everything on Trump. He can sit up here and show you the data of how this happened under their watch. But the nigger and Negro will blame him. That's how they keep them sheepwalking to the polls. I told everybody, hi Gwen, I told everybody that they're trying to replace Black Americans. They was like, no, now they're seeing. Yeah, we're going to keep waking them up, sis. Hopefully his parents will look into the reason why and ask questions. He's 22. His parents did their job, in my opinion. California is considered a sanctuary state. This status was established by the California Values Act, Senate Bill 54, which was signed into law in 2017. The law limits the extent to which state and local law enforcement agencies can cooperate with federal immigration authorities. However, there are ongoing discussions and proposed bills that aim to modify or weaken the sanctuary state. That's interesting, C. Miles. Let's look into that. Because as far as I knew, Karen Bass was looking to make LA a sanctuary city. So why, if California is already a sanctuary state, is she looking to do that? But let's look at this up. Karen Bass wants LA to become a sanctuary city. Let's share my screen. Let me hide your comment so we can see. Oh. So somebody needs to explain this to me. Mayor, do y'all see that? Let me check. Okay, you can see it. Mayor Bass works to expedite release of sanctuary city ordinance calls for a swift vote to protect LA's immigrant communities. Mayor Karen Bass today issued the following statement calling for swift action to enact protections for immigrant communities in LA. Following meetings with immigrants' rights groups, Mayor Bass and City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto worked over the weekend to expedite the release of the Sanctuary City Ordinance to the City Council. Especially in the face of growing threats to the immigrant communities here in LA, I stand with the people of the city, said Mayor Karen Bass. This moment demands urgency. Immigrant protections make our communities stronger and our city better. I want to thank City Attorney Feldstein Soto for her work, and I look forward to working with Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, Councilmember Nathia Rahman, Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez, Councilmember Eunices Hernandez, and other members of the council to enact needed protections for the immigrant communities of LA. Solidarity is an action, not rhetoric. So, C-Miles, you're going to have to explain to me how the state is a sanctuary, but the city of LA is excluded from that. Help me understand. Put it in the chat. Oh, this thing jumped. Oh, y'all been busy. My word. Oh, we already at 7:42. I'm going to go. I'm going to stop at 8, okay? Because I'm tired, y'all. What was that last comment? Oh my goodness. Y'all have been, hi, Easy Axe. Kashan. Lord. Okay. I think I'm in the ballpark. Let's just scroll down. Hi, PD reports the news. The California Republican councilman is playing smart politics. He stated last year he disagreed with many provisions in the bill, but brought it to the floor to keep the kill the bill blame off the Rethugnaclon. We got all these nicknames. Rethuglacons. The California Republican councilman is playing smart politics. Are you referencing the California bill that the California Black Legislative Caucus would not bring to the floor for a vote? Statistically shown that only 3% of DEI positions went to Black Americans. Bruce, I always ask the question, and you need to get into the habit of doing the same. What percent of that 3% is the Negro versus melanated immigrants? I've shared with you guys numerous of times out here in California that African Blacks were 60,000 liquid to U.S. Black 200 liquid. African Black was 54% degree to our 44% degree. Their median income was 113.5 to our 53.5. And that was 20 years ago. Look it up. It's free. The Color of Wealth LA, it's a free PDF. So you always have to ask when they're talking about DEI, affirmative action, and Black American, whom they label all of us under flat Black, which is why we're fighting for delineation. What percent of the 3% is Negro? Newsom has agreed that voters have to show when they vote now, show ID when they vote now, because he wants to get that money from the federal government. Oh! Isn't that interesting? So Trump is forcing them to ask for ID because who knows if the state actually flipped red because no voter, it was against the law to show your ID. So an illegal could go in and get my address, and had I not shown before them, they could have voted on my behalf. Hi, Easy Axe. What's going on with the sound? Oh my God, no sound. What didn't y'all hear? Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. He also had to agree to a second thing to receive federal monies, but I can't remember what Trump said now. Let me just look it up. What did Trump make Newsom agree to for federal funding? California governor asked Congress for nearly $40 billion. Because they wouldn't spend money on the infrastructure down here with those fires. You know, he wants all this federal aid. I don't see it. I'll have to look that up. It's not readily available. There was no sound. I don't know what part you missed. Oh my gosh. Sorry, fam. Negroes be voting for Democrats, not policies. Negroes be on that Democrats are my friend type of ish. Well, to our ethno side, Easy Axe. About a foot, 5, close to 10 minutes ago, there was no sound. The horror. I'm so sorry. I have to always check, I guess. I don't know why that was the case. Here's the secret. The power is in your ancestry to this land. Scroll up and read my comments. I did already. We've been saying she was a problem. Okay, George, email me and I can have you on to. Oh, thank you, Ivory Dreams. Great show. The subconscious on Maxine for the win. Okay, let me keep going. Y'all have been busy. Big Rich says, Lyndon B. Johnson said if he passed that civil rights bill, he'll have Negroes voting for Democrats for the next 200 years. Well, yeah, that part. Okay, you guys, Ivy Dreams has another suggestion to watch Silver Dollar Road. She's going to watch the Cotton Picking Truth. Let me put this down, Silver Dollar Road. There's another one to watch called Mully. Okay. That's on Prime. Okay. My grandparents were sharecroppers, says C. Miles, in Mississippi. My mom told me she picked cotton as well. Unbelievable. Milton X, welcome to the live. My two great-grandfather was born in 1831. My great-grandfather was born in 1883, just 20 years after slavery. I Googled it, and they were tied to German Dutch. Yeah, I don't dismiss the fact that I've got white and African. I'm just talking about the indigenous part. Where's that? Interesting. That's what the civil rights people in the NAACP did in the 60s. John Lewis, those young people back in the 60s, a lot of those people's parents, especially grandparents, didn't want them involved because of you signed up to vote. Those who had land lost it. Wow. Well, P. Ray Easley was sharing about the threat they were under. They literally would lose jobs and housing if they voted anything other than Demonrats. The Demonrats up in Chicago had them by the jugular. What they can't do anymore. I had no idea that our people and the vote was being held hostage, or our people would pay and suffer dearly if they didn't vote for the Demonrats. I voted for Trump day one. I saw the Democrats' failures to our Black Americans. Yes, to Negroes. Yes, Gwen XOXO. Good for you. Hold on one second, guys. Hi, sweetheart. Honey, because I'm still on my live, can I finish it and call you right back?
Love you. Bye. Oh, child. I can tell her a million times that I'm on a live and she continues to blow up the phone. So those weren't poor, uneducated people out in those rural areas who had small, medium, large acres of land. They knew not to sign up. The power was in the land. A lot of them didn't sign up. They had small grassroots on the ground, people standing up, fighting for and with solutions. Then the civil rights and NAACP people stepped in. Well, the NAACP is Jewish run and operated. Trump did fund the HBCUs, so I got to go find where he took the money away. I find that challenging to believe, but let me just research it before I hold on. Go off half cock. Trump takes money from HBCU. I'm gonna look it up. Bring it to the next broadcast. Trump first term, he also set aside money for the trades and skills schools. Sleepy Joe took some of that money and from HBCU sent that money overseas. Not only did he do that, George, but Joe Crow actually made the HBCUs take on other immigrant groups in order to receive a mere pittance of the federal funding, and the funds were competed with against the Hispanic institutions, who actually have more institutions than the HBCUs. So you had to allow them onto the campuses, you had to enroll them, and you had to compete for federal dollars against immigrant institutions. Yes, California Representative Bill Asai was the Republican who introduced the AB 1350 Freedmen bill. Absolutely, Bruce. I'm going to bring that story hopefully next week. There's a backlog, but we have to go over some things. Hi, Queen Z. The Dems have more than enough time to pay us. Absolutely. And they've had trifectas to boot. Silver Dollar Road is also on Amazon Prime for free. Thank you, my co-host in the chat. I greatly, greatly appreciate your involvement in the broadcast and what your input, your insight. I hope what you're learning from this is that you must weaponize your vote, socialize your suffering. I hope what you've learned from this is that you must keep the pressure on the Demonrats. We must, as a collective, move as a block 50 million strong to demand reparations, not just for slavery, but for Jim Crow and accrued, ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their very lives. I hope you're seeing the value in your protest vote. As we move into midterms, we cannot let the Demonrats get a stronghold on either the House or the Senate. We must unseat the betrayers in office right now. By and large, the congressional black caucuses are comprised of melanated immigrants who are fighting for immigrants while selling you a study that's only designed to line their own pockets. I need the Negroes to wake up. I need to grow the tribe of those who fight back like the ancestors to 50%. Come the midterms. I need us to show up every election in Obama-style numbers to defeat the Demonrats. You know how y'all ran out here and put Joe Crow and Skamala in office to defeat Trump? Well, I need y'all to show up to the polls to defeat the Demonrats. I don't need a comparison or a pissing match between who's more racist than the next. I don't care. What I care about is that our vote is being used to ethnocide and genocide our specific lineage. Not on my watch. I have a daughter to lead this country to. And you've got children and grandchildren to lead this country to. And they gonna flourish. As long as I got breath, I'll be over here
Tell them the TR roof like a TI is, because the Demonrats have declared war on the Negro. And they've been declaring war on the Negro, and I'm going to continue to expose them for having declared war on the Negro. And I pray you tune in. I pray you learn as much as you can. I pray you go back to your communities and teach them the same. I'm looking for my tribe. My channel nor my voice is for everyone. So, with that being said, I want to do my declare and decree. Hi, Rise to Prominence. I see you, fam. I want to do my declare and decree and pray us out. The weapons might form, but they're not going to prosper. Not on my watch. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the police officers, child protective services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, the CIA, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. All corruption of the U.S. corporation and the police force is now exposed, and justice for all wicked deeds and hidden acts, known and unknown, is now exposed and being punished and established in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. And so it is. And that's the way we allow it to be. Let's not forget that they also, no more Joy Ann Reid. Woohoo! Yes, I'm bringing that next week. I didn't have time to get to it, family. Let's not forget that they also funded the Iran-Contra war. Oh, Lord. I got to put on my glasses. Let's not forget that they also funded the Iran-Contra war by putting crack and guns in the black community because the Congress wouldn't give them the money for it. That was genocide when you look at, oh, yes, we coming for all our stuff. Yes, I'm originally from Ohio. Good chance your Iroquois are in those Iroquois Confederacy tribes. I don't really know. I got to find out which tribe. Oh, my uncle, my late uncle, and my cousins were doing the lineage. So I've got to see that tree. But I thank you all. Let me hide that, please. All praises. Yes, 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 to the Most High. That's how our ancestors made it through. That's how we're going to make it through. It's the only way. With that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever the Negro descendant and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. And so until we meet again next week, Sunday, the 2nd of March, for another enriching class, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and work week, okay? And until the next time we meet, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, and reparations, family. I love y'all. Keep on breathing strong. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, my God. Thank you, God.